Hey guys, welcome back to SourceFedNERD. I'm Philip Molina, and this is nobody, no one, because everybody in this office is sick. There's not even anyone behind the camera right now. At least now I don't feel as bad that I wasn't invited to the office-wide closet makeout session where everybody kissed everybody. And no one's here to deny that, so that's what happened. Okay, let's get into the nerdy stuff, starting with movie news. Hey guys, remember Lion King?
Wait, what?
Well, it's getting a live-action remake. Now, it's weird that it's being called live-action because there aren't going to be any humans in it, and it's probably going to be 100% CGI. But I guess photorealistic remake doesn't excite people. Though tell me you wouldn't line up to see a photoreal SpongeBob movie. That shit would be terrifying. Anywho, back to Lion King. So it's being directed by Jon Favreau, of course, because he honestly killed it with the recent Jungle Book movie. And if you're like me, and apparently like Disney executives, you saw that moment near the end of the movie when a CGI warthog and a CGI meerkat were standing next to each other, and you were like, oh, duh, yeah, CGI Lion King. How are we just coming up with this? So, answering the big questions, yes, the movie is gonna bring back the hit songs. No, we don't know if the original voice actors are coming back, though it would be great if some of them did. They were amazing. And yeah, it'll probably be a little more adult than the cartoon was, though I don't know if I need a more dramatic, photo-real version of Mufasa dying. Cecil the Lion was bad enough. Oh, and speaking of dead animals worshipped by the internet, I feel like you could predict this next part of the story, but of course there is a petition to add Harambe to this movie. I mean, he did have an excellent singing voice, so why not? But back to that idea of it maybe being a bit darker and scarier. The Broadway play version, which by the way is the most successful entertainment title in history, like counting every other Broadway show and movie, period, having brought in $6.2 billion worldwide. Anyway, it has some extra scenes that weren't in the original movie that could make it into this remake. In one of those scenes, Scar is all about trying to make Nala his queen, if you know what I mean, and honestly, they probably need to add that scene to the movie if they don't want to basically confirm what we all know about cartoon Scar. That dude is Simba's gay uncle. How's he gonna take over an entire pride, hang out there as a top cat for almost like a decade, and when Simba comes back, there are no new babies in the pride? I'm telling you, he wasn't into it. Now, if you're like, why are they doing this? They don't need to do this. Why don't they do something original? Well, first off, we should acknowledge The Lion King wasn't exactly an original story in the first place. It's a combination of one of the best stories ever told in Hamlet and the lesser known but very, very similar Kimba the White Lion. Also, remember the $6.2 billion the stage play made? Add on another billion for the cartoon movie and the 2 Academy Awards and the stage play earning 6 Tonys. And this movie is basically as sure a hit as Disney can produce. And with good reason. The Lion King is really, really good. It was my favorite movie growing up, and since it's been 22 freaking years, which is an entire Sam, by the way, a lot of kids have actually never seen it. So in order to keep the property relevant, it just makes sense that they want to reintroduce it to a new generation and again, make all the money. All of it. Remember, in filmmaking, anything that works gets a bunch of unnecessary sequels and prequels, and when they run out of steam on those, they re-release the original in a bunch of different remastered nonsense, and when they run out of steam on that, they start all over by remaking the original. It's basically just the circle of life. Haha, did it. Self 5. So are you excited for this movie? You know baby Simba is gonna be the cutest damn thing you've ever seen, and honestly, I was on the fence, but I found just listening to the soundtrack again today did actually get me pumped for wanting to see this happen. If you're not sure or your friends are like poo-pooing it, just go ahead and sing for them the opening song and you'll see. They get real excited. Watch.
The can, man, no more.
It's okay. Hey, I'm like, never mind. All right, so that's movie news. I do know that a big new trailer for Fantastic Beasts just came out. We're gonna try to do a whole big old breakdown on that trailer soon. But on to weird science news. New Scientist magazine is reporting that a baby was born. Isn't that amazing? Also, the baby has 3 biological parents. Probably should have led with that. So, what the hell am I talking about? Well, this baby, who was actually born 5 months ago, so happy belated, it belongs to a couple who have tragically lost 2 children to a rare and fatal genetic mutation caused by Lee syndrome. Apparently, its mother, its main mother, but we'll get back to that in a second, she's a carrier for this disease that lives in her mitochondrial DNA. So, going back to biology class, you remember that mom and dad's DNA delivers the genes that will make up the little baby, and most of these genes are found in the DNA enveloped in the nucleus of the reproductive cells, except our mothers actually carry a small amount of this DNA outside of the nucleus of the egg cell, and those 37 genes are actually in that cell's mitochondria, those little bean-shaped structures that give energy to the cell, and that's where those fatal Lee syndrome-causing genes were housed. So, Dr. John Zhang and his team at New Hope Fertility Center in New York came up with a way to prevent the mom from passing that bad mitochondrial DNA to her baby. They got another lady in the mix, and while I'm sure the dad was like, all right, I can work with this, the way they actually did it was not very sexy at all. First off, they had to go to Mexico because what they were about to do with these two ladies and a gentleman is not exactly legal in the US. And I know some of you are like, I don't know, it sounds still pretty sexy. But what they did is they took the ovum or egg cell from the primary mother or main mama, and they sucked out its nucleus, leaving behind those bad gene-carrying mitochondria in the egg cell. Then they took another lady's ovum, sucked out its nucleus, and jammed in main mama's nucleus to mingle with side lady's mitochondria. Then they added dad's sperm, and that part is just basically the same thing. I know this still might be a little difficult to follow, but we created a visual approximation of how this works. Cut to that. So if each egg represents an egg cell or an ovum, then you can see that and that's how you make a baby. The doctors also purposely made the child a boy, which choosing gender like that is only one part of what made this all very controversial. But they did so because boys don't pass on mitochondrial DNA to their children, meaning this donor side lady isn't going to be an awkward part of their family tree forever, just this one time. Now, the main reason though that this is a big controversy is really because of this 3 biological parents thing. Like, who do you get gifts from? But considering these people had been trying for 20 years and had lost 2 children to this disease already, I'm of the opinion that this is the more ethical thing to do. Use science to help them from losing more children, even if our government just isn't there yet. But that's me. I want to be able to order cyborg parts off of Amazon and like plug them into my brain. So what do you think? Is this okay? And all right, just before we finish, I just want to mention a real quick tech news update. Let's all have a moment of silence for the death of Blackberry's hardware division today. That is so rude, but appropriate. Blackberry already killed off its Blackberry Classic earlier this summer, and today they announced they're done. They're out of the hardware phone business entirely. The reason this is important, Blackberry Classic was the holdout on physical buttons on the keyboard phone. Now, new generations don't even know what it was like to get a blister after an all-night awkward texting session in high school, and they're never gonna know that because they use their hologram VR snap phones, right? Candace?
I don't get what you're doing.
Actually, real talk, I have never caught up to the speed and accuracy I had with physical buttons. I'm even talking like the T9 version here. But tapping glass is, I guess, a lot cooler. And considering the fact that the screen can adapt to displaying whatever it needs, like an alternate language keyboard or emoji ones, or you got more room for your little YouTube videos that I might be in right now, I guess it was worth it to get rid of it. But here's to you, Mrs. Blackberry. Philip loves you more than you'll ever know. Though I never had a Blackberry. Now here's the weird thing. Their stock did go up in response to this news because everyone was like, good, you won't lose millions and millions of dollars on phones no one wants. Except now it's like, so what does that company do? Why is the stock going up? Blackberry claims they're gonna focus on software, and since they already use Android software in their phones, I don't think they're really gonna suddenly have something better than Android software, so I'm not buying it. But actually, that's my guess as to what they're looking for. Somebody to buy it, as in the whole company. So keep an eye out, or if you have more money than you do sense, feel free to make them an offer. I bet they will take it. All right, that's it for me. Questions for you are: 1, what is your fan casting for Lion King voices if the original peeps don't come back? Benedict Cumberbatch for Scar, maybe? Christopher Walken for Rafiki? 2, do you miss physical keyboards on your telephone devices? Were you born after that was a thing? And 3, this is more of a request actually, but what do you think a baby made by me, Sam, and Whitney would look like? I think at first it'll be real wealthy looking and attractive, and then suddenly just enough ambiguous minority features that it'll never be fully accepted by any culture. And it'll have like a real big butt. All right, so please share this video with your friends, and you can tweet at me at Fimo. We can chat more about any of this stuff there. I've been Philip Molina. Sam and Whitney, please get better soon. Oh, also subscribe to SourceFedNERD, and if you don't already, then you don't even know who the hell I'm talking about. Sam and Whitney are great. They're awesome. You'll love them. Subscribe. That's it for me. Bye.
Congratulations, Simmons. You got the promotion.
I'm sorry. Who even is this guy?
Hey, I'll fucking cut you, SA. Hi, I'm Jon Favreau.